This podcast.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome in to the starters. I'm Dave, and with me today, of course, is George Caperis and the man who broke the Joe Valeno news, Mr. Simon Tsalikis. How are you, sir?
Shout out to I cannot give out the barista's name nor coffee shop, but shout out to the barista. When I walked in, Dave, George, I asked for my cortado, no sugar, sprinkle of chocolate because we're counting calories. And as he slid me, and I said he, I shouldn't have said he because now we've eliminated half the population. As he slid me my cortado, no lid, no sugar, sprinkle of chocolate, looked me in the eyes and said, Simon, Joe Valeno, signed, sealed, delivered. I said, wow. I go, I hope he kept him. He goes, hope. Because I just told you it's a done deal. Now, I will tell you, the gentleman's background was Italian. So I'm playing into every stereotype, but I'm just telling you factual stuff. Barista, Italian, told me so, and was offended when I questioned whether or not it was a done deal or not. So shout out to the barista.
Well, first off, I got to say shout out to you because I don't think you got enough credit for this. I don't think enough people are talking about that. You're the one that had the initial report of Joe Valeno coming. I understand it's not Wayne Gretzky or Sidney Crosby coming over to the Canadiens, but still you broke it. Kudos to you, my friend.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Won't happen again unless somebody else, when I'm ordering something, tells me something happens, because I don't know.
Listen, the Simon has connections with everybody in this city. He's a realtor, he's a radio star, and now he's breaking trades. What can't you do?
That's how you got to do it in Montreal. This is how you do it, right? Though
this
is the way.
One I knew before the masses knew was Michel Therrien was going to be relieved of his duties, and Claude Julien was going to be hired. Didn't believe it for a second.
Yeah.
But it came from somebody from my real estate world and told me, done deal, Mike's out, Claude's in. I said, okay, you've never spoken to me about sports in your life, but okay. But again, very accurate.
Nice. Those are the best type of sources, just like on the ground level,
Yeah.
Those are real connections. I like it. I like it a lot. All right. Speaking of Joe Valeno and the Habs off season, a lot of people, guys, are just now the Habs have turned into like the darlings of the off season, right? They're calling them the kings of the off season. They're saying they won the off season, best moves. Obviously, they've made some bigger moves in acquiring Noah Dobson and whatnot. But I just want to know, how close are we to being in the territory where the Habs are now overhyped?
I don't think we're
Simon,
close to the overhyped. I don't think we're close to the overhyped just yet. I think it still needs to be proven itself, but you have to be very, very cautious here. It's not like this team had a stranglehold on a playoff spot on Valentine's Day. It didn't. It got in on the last weekend, and it had to beat a Blackhawks team, or was it Carolina team, to get in. I remember probably doing this podcast with the two of you, talking about, my goodness gracious, Jonathan Marchessault and Steven Stamkos on the Predators, or that's the order that they fell in, and everybody thought that the Predators had won last year's offseason. But I like the moves. I like the Noah Dobson was part of perhaps a Team Canada roster. Bolduc is a young player, fits in perfectly on your middle six. Pick 16 and 17 wasn't going to play themselves out until season in 2026, 2027. You're also at that part where Suzuki, Caulfield, Slav, Hudson, Demidov, they haven't hit their best. There's a progression in their natural game. Emil Heineman is a very good hockey player. I don't think he moved the needle here. I think he's a good player. I don't think when he lands on a team or leaves from a team, the line in Vegas moves. He's just a quality hockey player. I think the coach behind the bench resonates with the modern player. And I said this today when I was on with Mitch Gallo on the Drive Show, that Ken Hughes has a wonderful relationship, it seems, with other agents. And he was an agent. And I'm sure there are other agents out there that you don't want to deal with, or where you pick up the phone. I have it in my world. There's certain agents I'm like, oh, this guy's so loud, he's so aggressive. And there's other agents, oh, this is going to be a pleasant conversation. We might not get a deal done, but it's going to go down in a very pleasant, professional manner. And I think Kent Hughes has that. And I think, like, if I want, I'm George's agent. And George, Kent's telling you you're going to play, you're going to play. Kent's telling you you're going to get this. There's an opportunity there. I think agents can sell that to their players. I think the ownership is fantastic, and I think the president of hockey operations is very good as well. They're a young team trending in the right direction. I don't think the overhype is there just yet. I think you have, if you're a Habs fan, you have every reason to hype this team. They've gotten better from the last time we saw them on the ice. They got younger. They got more agile. They're more athletic. They're a whole bunch of things. So, yeah, I think we're not at the overhype, but I think you can hype them, yes.
All right. George?
I think Simon hit it dead on this one. And you kind of look at the guys they picked up and the roster they have now. I mean, whether that entire first line is first-round picks, that second line is going to be first-round picks. The defense, 3 out of the 4 guys are first-round picks, and 1 guy is a second-round pick that put up 60-somewhat points as a rookie. Everything they've done, and even look, Joe Valeno's a first-round pick, right? Who had exceptional status, one of the rare Q players, and I think he was the first after Crosby, right? After when they started doing that, to get exceptional status. And I think he fits in what they want to do. 26-year-old on a prove-it contract. The Canadians did win the offseason. There's no doubt about that because they built for the future. Now, here's the thing, though, and I think this is the part where it gets kind of dicey. The Montreal Canadiens are a bubble playoff team. That's the reality of it as we speak right now today. That's the reality of it. That there is a world where an injury, some of the guys don't produce, like that second line center we've been talking about, and all of a sudden the Montreal Canadiens aren't in the playoffs, and that could happen. But if you look long term, because the moves they made were a lot of, let's face it, really good long-term moves in getting Noah Dobson for one, the Canadiens are set. Like, it's looking good. Even if you got to wait 2 more years until you develop that center, you acquire that center, all these guys are signed. You got Jacob Fowler coming. You got Reinbacher coming, who's another first-round pick. The Canadiens look good. I hate to say overhyped. I don't think that's the word. I would say maybe expectations are getting high, maybe a little too high, but I think the Montreal Canadiens are hyped just right
and
now.
I agree with you, George, because you're right. This time last year, the Rangers and the Canucks were coming off 100-plus point seasons. Right. And the Canucks had 2 studs down the middle, right? Pettersson and JT Miller. They had their version of Lane Hudson on the blue line. They had their power forward. They had their goalie of the future, non-playoff team. And
non-playoff team, that's right.
Rangers had all those things. So I don't know if it's a 3 steps forward, which they just did, and now it's 2 steps back. We'll see. But again, I think the long-term future. I think the long-term future is a lot more bright than the next 82 games.
Absolutely. It's trending in the right direction.
Okay, well, you guys are touching on my next question, which was basically like in terms of development, like is making the playoffs an important step for this group next season? Like, will it be considered a failure if they don't? And you guys kind of answered it, but I just want to hear more.
So certainly, Dave, listen, I mean, anytime an NHL hockey team doesn't make the playoffs, this season is a failure. There's no doubt about that. Every team is trying to win the Stanley Cup. But I think for the Montreal Canadiens, they have to do what they did last year, which is every player has to show an improvement in their game, because I think we saw that last year, right? Suzuki improved, Caulfield improved. All the guys, Hudson, whoever it is, everybody took a step forward. Very few guys took a step back. And if that happens again and they don't make the playoffs because of an injury, a bad season from somebody, or something happens and the Canadiens don't make the playoffs, it's not the end of the world. It isn't the end of the world. Is the season a failure? Yeah, we're going to call the season, one of those seasons that didn't go the way we wanted. But the Montreal Canadiens right now are trending in the right direction. They're exciting on paper. I haven't been able to say that in a very, very long time, that I'm looking forward to watching some hockey games, that I'm looking forward to that. What's this team's going to do? My excitement level is at a 9 on 10. It's been a while since I've been able to say that about the Montreal Canadiens. So everything's trending upwards, smelling like roses for now. We'll see what the final results are. I would have still loved if we had gotten Mason McTavish, as our 9,000 views say on our video there. I think a lot of people were interested in us possibly getting Mason McTavish type or Mason McTavish. But there's enough on this team to make the playoffs as it is now. They're going to need some bounces. They're going to need some good seasons from some guys, but looks good.
All right. Well, the offseason's not over yet, George. Just
no, I got it.
There's way too many insiders have told us, and for whatever reason, we beat up poor Dave Pagnotta today on a Monday on the drive show because Gallo and I were not thrilled with the number of moves that have been made in the last 10 days when we were specifically promised by many insiders that the offseason is going to be a brouhaha. There's 1 month left, right? Because I don't see things happening in September. So we'll give the insiders 4 more weeks to come through on those promises. Non-playoff is a fail, Dave. It has to be. It has to be. If you're a young team trending in the right direction and you got better, just look at it from certain perspectives, right? You replaced Bolduc with Heineman. I'd like Bolduc a little bit more. Maybe I like Heineman on the depending back and forth. I'm a little bit torn on that, but at the end, I think I'm going to enjoy the Bolduc more. You replaced just lineup to lineup. You took out Savard from your blue line, and you added Dobson to your blue line. You're hoping a Patrick Laine from day one. I don't even know who was on the second line at the beginning of last year. It could have been Newhook, and now it's Demidov for 82 games. There's too many things going in the right direction for the Canadiens fans not to believe that a non-playoff team would be a fail. I think it would be a fail. The offseason has just been too good for you to take that step backwards. Now, the problem is this. We mentioned Nick Suzuki and how he was great, and I'm hoping he's on Team Canada. We might, I don't think we have, but we might have seen Nick Suzuki's best season in the National Hockey League. Point a game is not something that just happens on the regular. Point a game in the National Hockey League is hard. How many guys did it last year? I don't know the numbers in front of me. 20, 30, whatever the number is, 15, 17, 18. Dave, hit it. I don't, I have no idea how many players had a point a game last year. But it's not that many. I don't want to freak people out. There's a chance that from a points perspective, Lane Hudson might have had his best year ever. I don't think he did. But he might have had his best. That's how good his first season was. So there's a lot of positive, a lot of things trending in the right direction, but you do need certain players to have big-time years again. I think they will. I think the power play will be a little bit better. I think you're more set in nets right now than you've been in a while. Not a knock on Jake Allen, but you're just a little bit younger than Jake Allen when you go Montembeault and Dobish instead of Montembeault and Allen. You're better on the blue line. And I think you're deeper up front. You're going to have a choice of guys that you can plug into your bottom six, from the Joshua Ottawas, the Owen Becks, the Kapanens, Gallagher, Anderson, and Evans. If you go with that, that's probably the best fourth line in the National Hockey League. So a non-playoff season for me, barring obviously if you lose a Nick Suzuki, I think to me would be definitely a fail.
26. That's the number.
26 players.
That's not even one a team. And how many do the Leafs have? 2?
I believe 2. I believe Nylander and Marner. Yeah.
They had 2. Avalanche, off the top of my head, had 2. Lightning probably had 2.
Oilers had 2 as well.
Who? The Oilers. So when you look around, how many teams have point-a-game players? It's not very hard.
No.
It's something that is very hard to do. So I'm hoping it's going to happen. If I had to bet $1, I would bet on happening. But it's not that easy.
For sure. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Those are my questions. Be sure to follow us at the Starters 690. Drop us, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and answer the questions, guys. Give us your take. Are the Habs overhyped in this offseason, and is it a failure if they do not make the playoffs this upcoming season? Thanks, George. Thanks, Simon.
Ciao, boys.